Is there concern of that, though, that they've allowed the first goal all four of these games. They've had to play comeback and catch up. And sure, there is like that confidence. I actually even asked Dean Epson that on Friday during practice saying, hey, is there such thing as being too confident in having to come back from behind? And he was like, well, we're not cocky. I'm like, well, no, you have to have a little arrogance to do it. But is that concerning, Alexis, that they're always coming back and winning from behind?
Yeah, in certain ways, yes, because that's not a sustainable style of hockey, right? You can't play that way for 82 games and for the most part come out on the winning side of that. Teams who play that style of hockey, more often than not, are not going to be successful. You are going to get some really fun games where they battle back and maybe they push it to overtime and they lose in overtime. Maybe they find a way to win late. And the Wild historically have kind of been that kind of team, that gritty, like, hey, we're not going to blow everybody out of the water, but we will battle hard. And which has resulted in a lot of really fun come from behind victories or late heroics like the Marcus Foligno 7-second left goal. But it is concerning when you look at, if you just take this 4-game sample that we're talking about here ahead of the Preds game, some of these teams, you had 2 Ducks matchups and you had a Kings matchup, which those 2 teams are not, fantastically organized teams, right? These are teams that the Wild should be able to perform pretty good against. Now, any team can win on any given night, and these are all professional teams, so they're good. But when you look at it, it's like, oh, I kind of wish that maybe they would have played a little stronger in some of these games and not made it so hard on themselves. But it is what it is. They are working with a lot of new pieces in their lineup and some different lines than they were working with last year. So they're probably still trying to get into the swing of things for themselves as the season gets rolling. Having fans back in the building for the first time. There's a lot of new things going on for this team. So I'm not too concerned yet. Now, if they're still playing this way, like in 2 or 3 weeks, then I'm gonna be like, oh, there's some things.
But if they're winning, are you still
a little bit? Because like I said, can they do this, all the way through March and April? I don't know. That to me just doesn't seem sustainable. So I love a good game like that. Those kind of games are so fun to watch. But for those of us on deadline, like Jesse, and those of us who just, are going to melt into a puddle if I have to watch a game like that every single night, it can be exhausting. So hopefully you find ways to tweak it so you don't have to play that way all the time. So far it's working. We'll take it. I said it in my Beauts breakdown today. We'll take a win however we can get it. But you do want to find ways to have more sustainable styles of winning that'll benefit you better long term.